In today's video, I'm sharing with you the flight essentials that I bring every time I travel. Now, I am traveling by plane about every month, and in some cases, these are long overnight flights, sometimes connecting, and in other cases, they're shorter domestic flights. But these are the most valuable items that I bring for comfort, sleep, and even to help with anxiety. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, while I'm usually flying because I'm going on a cruise, these tips and items that I am using might be helpful to you no matter if you're going on a cruise or a land trip. Now, in addition to showing you some of the flight essentials that I bring, I'll also show you what I put in my personal bag that absolutely helps during my flights. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. All right, I want to start with the basic, but it's my passport wallet holder. So what I do for myself and my husband is I have our passports here. What I do here, you have a little zippered portion. So I keep any additional money that I have with me. Oftentimes, if I'm going to Europe, I'm going to have some euros and I'm going to keep that there. I'm also going to keep my Nexus. So I have that. So if you have anything like that, you can keep that there. You can also keep some change. So again, if you don't often go to Europe, but sometimes you're there, you might want to have that. I'm Canadian, so I also keep US currency with me. And while I am going through the airport, I also keep my boarding passes just slipped in here. And in this way, I can keep this right on my wrist when I want to have my passport handy, but place this entire thing into my personal bag after I'm done. Now, when I'm going through security, I actually use this clear toiletry bag. It is TSA approved, so it is the perfect size. And you can see it's very roomy. And what I do with this is I'm able to keep all of my different items in here. And then it's pretty handy when I'm traveling and I'm at a hotel as well. Now, by the way, if you're looking for travel toiletry sizes, something that I started to use are these refillable pouches. I got a little bit tired of using those bigger bottles because I found I always had a little bit too much, and sometimes to buy the travel sizes each time, it gets a little bit expensive. So this is actually my facial cleanser, and this is a little bit of toothpaste. I actually brought this for 4 days, and you can see I have enough that I could have even managed for 7. Now, by the way, all of the items that I do share with you in today's video, I am going to leave them linked down below in the description of the video, as well as a pinned comment. Now, when I'm flying, I always prioritize comfort when it comes to what I'm wearing. I know it's going to make a really big difference when I'm in the airplane seat, especially if I'm flying overnight, if I'm flying on longer flights. So I always bring like a comfy sweater, or something that I do is just bring a little scarf or a shawl. Now, this one is great because if I'm on a cruise or even I'm traveling, then I have a scarf that I could wrap around my shoulders or cover my shoulders if I'm visiting a church, for instance, during my travels. So it's something that can go just at the top of my tote. Now, I'll share more of what's in my personal bag after, but I did want to share with you something new that I have started to use over the last few months. And this is the airplane pocket. I absolutely love this. Every time I'm on a flight, people ask me about this. How does it work? Well, basically what this does is it goes straight over the tray right in front of you. And this part just hangs down, and you have enough space to put your iPad or put gum or your phone or your AirPods or any other items, a book maybe, anything that you need, it is in here. And this way it avoids you having to put your fingers right into the actual airplane pocket, which I always think about the people that are putting Kleenexes in there and stuff, and I just don't want to touch that. And the really nice thing is this covers your tray, so you don't really have to worry about that. And at the end of the trip, what I do is I just take this and I throw it into the washing machine, and I have it ready for my next flight. Now, speaking of new comfort items for a plane, this is something I have not yet tried, but I have just purchased and at the advice of many of my viewers, and it's an airplane seat that's inflatable. It actually is pretty quick and easy to inflate, so you could bring it onto the plane non-inflated, then inflate it. And I think that this is really handy when you're on those long flights, maybe 7 hours or so. it starts to really hurt, your back and your bum. And this just makes, well, an economy seat at least more comfortable. All right, let's talk neck pillows. Now, there are two neck pillows that I've actually found have really worked. One of them is actually sort of this moldable neck pillow where it almost bends, sort of like a snake, I guess, if you will. I lent it to my older son when he just went with his girlfriend to Portugal. And what did he do? He was like, "It was the best pillow, Mom. I left it on the plane on the way home." So not good. So I'm going to have to buy a new one, or maybe he should buy me a new one. But that is a good one, but it is a little bit bulky. So what I found is this one, and I tried it out because I've heard of so many people using it. I wasn't sure that I would like it, but I love it. So basically what happens for this is you do need an airplane neck rest, I guess, behind you, and you're going to attach this just there. This comes along the sides, and then you put this sleep mask on. It does work really well. I wasn't sure that it would because your head stays up, but what happens is the sleep mask basically stops you from falling forward, and that's where your neck usually really hurts and you wake up. So I found that I was extremely well rested, and there was something about this sleep mask. It's nice and cushioned, and it sort of just shielded every sensory experience for me on the plane, and it absolutely helped even with my anxiety. Now, if you're somebody who gets blocked ears when you fly, I did want to share with you something that absolutely helps my husband because he suffers from this. And these are basically earplugs that are going to help with that air pressure. So what he does is he uses these, he puts them in his ears as soon as we basically board the flight. And then he'll take them off during the flight and he'll put them on about 30 minutes before we land. Now, speaking of ears, another alternative are the loop earplugs. So if you're not somebody who specifically needs it for the pressure, but just likes the idea of not having to hear all of those airplane sounds, I hate it. So these loop earplugs are really good. They are very soothing. And if it's not a point in time that you want to have, an AirPod in your ears or you're not listening to music, this is perfect. Now, speaking of music, the Bose Quiet Comfort headphones might be the best headphones. Oh my goodness, they're so comfortable that you could get for your flight. Not only are they a very good quality, but they truly are the most comfortable that I've tried. Now, I actually sat next to somebody who was using these on a recent flight. She absolutely swore by them. And then when I got home, they happened to be on sale on Amazon, so I did pick them up. And by the way, at the time that I'm filming this video, I think that they are on sale. Oh, and what's really nice is they come with this thin carrying case as well. Now for something that's going to seem a little bit more indulgent, but trust me on this, a snackle box. Now, you may not want to bring this. Truthfully, I have not ever brought this, but I did sit next to people who did. And the thing that they were doing, I thought it was a great idea. They had, gummies and other types of snacks in here. They were eating it on the plane. And by the way, we were going overseas. So it was a pretty long flight. But what they were doing is they were actually going to bring it on their cruise after that to have some snacks in their cabins. So I thought it was a good idea if you have room. Now, I am curious. Please let me know if you would bring something like this, or if for you it's too much. Please let me know down in the comments. Either way, compression socks. Now, something that I've realized is compression socks, by the way, are really good, especially for longer flights. But something that I realized is if I'm wearing leggings, for some reason, specifically the ones from Lululemon, the Align leggings, it seems like I don't need the compression socks. It seems like they actually do the job along with socks. So in any case, otherwise though, I would consider bringing some. A foot hammock. If you need something to elevate your legs, and I think for longer flights, this could be especially helpful. So what you do is you simply hang this below your tray. Of course, you have to make sure that it is allowed by your airline, but I definitely have seen people use these more recently. And because it does pack up flat, it doesn't take up a lot of room. A MagSafe phone holder. Now, this is the best phone holder that I have found. I tend to watch videos on my iPad that I bring with me, but he tends to watch videos on his phone, and it really helps to not be, bending your head down all the time or holding your arm out to watch the phone. And the nice thing about this type of phone holder is the fact that it's MagSafe. Your phone just magnetizes right on. Okay, so I want to show you a few things that are in my personal bag. Oh gosh, you can see that that's from my flight just a few days ago. In any case, and by the way, I will leave this tote down below in the description of the video. It is Nomad Lane. They're not sponsoring this video, but I do tend to use the Nomad Lane Origami tote, and I also love the Nomad Lane Bento bag as my personal bag or my carry-on bag. It is fantastic. The organization is just amazing. In any case, in here, lots of great organizations. So some of the things that I have are, well, my little pill box, and this is for my over-the-counter medication. And in most cases, over-the-counter medication is just fine to go through the TSA and security. So obviously it depends on the country that you're going to, but when I've been in Europe and all over the United States and Canada, this has not been a problem. Really inexpensive, but it's magnetic. I like it. And of course, I bring it everywhere when I travel as well. Now, the other thing that I bring with me is moisturizer. And of course, this would have been in my liquid bag as well. But when I'm on the plane, my hands are always getting dry, so I make sure that I do have some moisturizer. A hair tie. Now, I used to bring a hair clip and a hair tie, but I realized that hair clips are just not comfortable when you're on a plane. So I just bring the comfiest hair tie scrunchie that I can find. A phone charger. Now, I always have more than one phone charger because I want to just make sure that my phone is always charged. But I like this one because of the built-in cable. So this works really well. But the Inui brand, in my experience, for the price, is the fastest charge, the best quality. So I always have this, but it does require, there it is. It does require that you bring a cable. Either way, I'm going to leave both linked down below in the description. Now, I always have deodorant with me to refresh. And by the way, deodorant is not considered a liquid, so you can just put it right into your personal bag. I always have some gum with me. It's my favorite gum, but I did forget to buy it before I got to the airport, so I had to buy this, which was a bigger container. Otherwise, I would have bought it probably at the dollar store. I'm going to have a toothbrush with me, and that's especially for once I land, and I have that little, extra toothpaste with me. But what you can do, and a lot of people do, is you can purchase, I think it's by the brand Colgate, but it's basically these mini travel toothbrushes that have a little bead of toothpaste that is dried up, I think, already on. Now, I keep a little pouch of certain things that I might need. Band-Aids. I'm going to have some different candies in case my throat gets dry. Now, the other thing that I bring with me, and I guess it's for my actual luggage, but it is a luggage tag holder. Now, I bought a pack of these that are all nice, bright colors, and especially if your luggage is black or navy or gray, you definitely want to have this. So I like this, but what I like also is that your address is actually sort of tucked away on the paper that is inside, and only your name shows. Now, I travel with this nice flat lit up mirror. So it's an LED mirror, and it's good when you're traveling, right? And it has, I think, 3 different colors, or shades, I should say. But this is nice and thin, so I find it fits really well in my tote bag. And whether I need it on the plane, if there's a reason, which it could happen, or when I'm traveling, I have this with me. I also keep a little portable fan with me. And again, this is because I'm keeping it in my personal bag. If I am finding it hot anywhere, I just like to have this fan. And this one in particular, I kind of like because it's so nice and thin, and it still does work really well. And of course, an air tag. So I have an air tag in all of my pieces of luggage, but I even have them in my carry-on as well. And I have to tell you, this has been handy because my carry-on bag got checked a couple of times, but one time in particular, we had a connecting flight in London to Athens, so with Aegean Airways, and they actually took away our carry-on bag. We were able to keep our over-the-shoulder one, which is one of the reasons why I like to always have at least one weekender style bag, and so I like my Nomad Lane bag. But in any case, they weighed it, and it was over, I guess, the 8 kilograms or whatever the amount was. And so they gate checked it, but I was kind of comforted to be able to see that my luggage did arrive. Now, by the way, I think a lot of people know this, but the AirTag is specifically for iPhones. You can pick up a Tile or other Bluetooth tracker. Now, I don't think I mentioned this, but I always make sure that I have lip balm with me. And that's just because even if I'm not wearing makeup on a flight, I always sort of, feel like I do need a little something on my lips. And the other thing, I feel like we don't talk about it much anymore, but I still do always bring, Clorox wipes or something similar and some disinfectant for my hands. But especially the Clorox wipes, whether it's for, inside the plane or when you're sitting down, even waiting to board the plane and you're sitting in the waiting area on chairs where everybody kind of puts their hands. I just don't want to arrive at my destination sick. Melatonin. Now, if you are taking a long flight, this can really help. Now, personally, I don't have that much of a problem with jet lag. I'm able to sort of push out the day when I travel, like that I land. I try to just push my awake hours to be as late as possible, to at least get to about 9 p.m. or so. And then I sort of go to sleep and I adjust. But my son, Ethan, has a harder time with that. And he started to take melatonin, but not when he lands. He takes it when he's on the plane so that it helps him sleep. And I thought, well, that is actually really smart. So he'll take it, of course, only for those long flights, but that might be something to consider if you are traveling abroad. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How do you stay comfortable on a flight, especially a long flight in economy? Please let me know your tips and tricks down in the comments below. And I hope this video was helpful. I will leave all of the items that I mentioned down below in the description, as well as a pinned comment. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy flying and cruising.